Welcome back to episode 295 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast.
Yeah, it's Thursday morning. Gone show time. Crack the wax, hit the facts. Let's grind. Alarm clock buzzing, time to rise. Start your day with stats that analyze. Josh spin facts, got the market on lock. Dropping hobby heat like a young gun stock. No filler, all fire. Insights that last from price trends to sleepers. Rising fast, get moving, get set. Let the vibe begin. The Gong Show hits hard like a puck to the chin. Gong Show, up and go. Thursdays here, let the hobby flow. We rip, we slab, we elevate. Start your day, collect and celebrate. Before the scroll, before the grind. Louis drops visuals that blow your mind. Design so slick, it cuts through noise. Polishing the pod with the cleanest pour. Thumbnails to heat maps, he's got that skill. Turn a hobby chaos into visual chill. No voice on the mic, but you feel his tone. His graphics alone got a vibe of their own. He feel steps in with the wildest take. Mornings hit harder when the lunatics awake. Turn up the volume, feel that spark. He's setting the pace like a rookie in the dark. From hot list to beats, he's bringing the flame, and he's never afraid to call out the game. It's loud, it's real, it's full on hype. The Gong Show's live, this is Hobby Life. Gong Show, start your day. Card takes in that collector's way. From the rookies to grails, we...
You have all bad takes on everything in hockey.
Hi, Phil.
That was too quick. That's not a good Phil take. Hey, Josh, how's it going? Great song. Great, another banger.
Oh, yeah, you like that?
Yeah, it was. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, these are fun. I like doing them. So, welcome to the show. It's a little bit different podcast given the news that broke yesterday morning around Upper Deck. We have no Baba Louie. He's still with us. So
he's always watching. He's always watching.
Always watch. He's there. He's omnipresent. He's watching over his sweet babies, Josh and Phil. His daughter, who is a senior in high school, is in lacrosse playoffs right now and has a big playoff game tonight when we're recording. And so he's got to make the proper and right choice and be there to cheer her on and support the team. So wishing her the best of luck. So how's it going, Phil? It's just me and you.
Pretty good. What a big day. What a big day yesterday was, eh? Pretty wild.
Yeah. Very excited about this show to get some reactions. And like I said, it's a little bit of a different show. We're not doing kind of our standard format, given the news that Upper Deck made about their solution to protect collectors against patch swapping and fake patches, that they're encapsulating the cup RPAs right from the factory, and they're coming in a slab with the certification number that you can go and look up on the authority.com website. And all this information is in our interview we did with Grant Sandground yesterday on our YouTube channel. So we would recommend checking that out if you haven't. We wanted to get reaction about this from people around the hobby. And I thought of two people immediately in Mitch Gropman, who is not only kind of a cup super collector, maybe the most knowledgeable person on the history of the cup. He did our Cup Masterclass series a while back, but he's also been very influential and kind of given back to the hobby on the whole fake patch thing with his fake hockey patches Instagram account, and spent a lot of time and to prevent or help people not spend a lot of money on cards that are altered.
He's been championing that that top three priorities in our hobby, and I'm glad yesterday was a day of a good starting point for. Well, you'll find out. We interview Mitch, so you'll find out what he thinks. Yeah,
I think him and Jeremy Lee have probably carried the mantle in that regard. And then beyond that, one of the key questions that I have in all this is, how is this going to work with people that like to get their cards graded? So I thought of no better person than Brett Hartlin from PSA, who not only is a very passionate and lifelong hockey collector and can give an opinion from that perspective, but can also maybe inform us on anything that PSA is doing in this regard. And so that's basically going to be the show today, is chatting with both Mitch and Brad. Before we do, though, just a couple of very quick announcements we want to roll through. So we have tomorrow night is our Slab Sharks live, or tonight. Sorry, tonight.
Tonight, Josh. Tonight.
I'm all lost here. Is our YouTube live show where we're going to cover the Slab Sharks auction. I'm sure this issue will come up. One of the things or side benefits of having that live show is that we're going to be able to get feedback from people about what they think of Upper Deck's solution to protecting the sanctity.
Yeah,
of
come
patches.
here. air your grievances and air your wins and your joyous moments. Come chat tonight while we look at cards. There'll be all of us there. And well, good. And Sam is also joining us tonight, so that'll be all lots of fun. Sam Genova.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll have a good crew. Yeah, so we'll definitely come up and bring your questions in the chat.
And then Friday night, Phil. Have you heard of Friday Nights with Phil? It's a great show. You should check it out.
Heard that guy's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's a place to be on Friday nights. Yeah, not too shabby. Yeah, we're gonna have we have a good guest host, and we're gonna have a good guest, and we're also gonna be giving away a box of Extended. It's gonna be fantastic. Buying your love, and I'm also gonna be ripping a box of Extended, and I hope to get one of the Ovechkin inscribed cards. You know, we'll see what happens.
Oh, I would love to see you do that. You'd fall over in your chair, I bet. That would be funny. Then on Monday's podcast, we just did an interview with Grant Patterson, who has some amazing stories about huge cards that he's recently purchased and his experiences at the Montreal Expo as well. He's a big NHL Shield 101 collector. And so he's made a number of those purchases and does a little show and tell. I also want to make a reminder, because they are a sponsor of the show, that GP is breaking All Day Today Extended Series. So go to gpsportscards.com. He'll have his big Friday night lineup, and then all next week with the Cup. So the kid...
big couple weeks. It's been a great year so far, eh? 2025, Year of the Collector.
Year of the Collector, yeah. Want to shout out then also Mint Ink. Obviously, it is extended release day. So go to mintink.ca. If you're anywhere in Canada, you can pick up a box of Extended Series or any other hobby boxes for them there. And it's important for us to do that because all these guys make like our interviews with Brad and Mitch today possible. So we want to acknowledge their support of the show. And then lastly, a little bit of a Discord update is episode 2, Phil, Behind the Bench with our board Neil.
Under the Bleachers. I'm calling it the real name.
Yeah. That dropped on Tuesday. A great episode. He did a total deep dive into Terapeak. So anyone that's a little newer to the hobby or that is just not familiar and hears us mention relentlessly that the sale was made on eBay and verified is paid for in Terapeak, if you've ever wondered that, that's the place to get all that info. He did an amazing job in that regard. And it's exclusive to our Discord community, which is kind of like Phil calls it, the hockey card Tinder for lonely men.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
It's very comfy, cozy, very affectionate, very knowledgeable, very learned.
Yeah. And then lastly, before we get into our interviews, a reminder that our show, this show, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, is a Patreon podcast. If you want to join our Discord community, see Under the Bleachers or Behind the Bench, we'll call it Behind the Bench in front of Neil.
Until Neil pulls me aside wherever we are and says, listen, cut it out.
It's gonna happen.
Oh, you think so? Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'd love for you to be a part of our community, and you can do that by supporting our show for as little as $5 US a month. Be the first 299 supporters of the show. Forever get that title. Of course, you get access to Discord and all the fun stuff we do there. It's very easy to do. You can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page, or go to Patreon directly, patreon.com. Search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. There's a link in the show description if you're the good listener in the podcast apps, or if you're watching us on YouTube and looking at Phil's beautiful mustachy face. And then finally in our Instagram and TikTok profiles too. Now, Tom, I'm sorry, we have no Baba Louie. He's the vice president in charge of pretty photos.
Yeah.
So, and he actually sent me one for you, but I forgot to load it.
That's
He's so mad at me. So maybe we'll do it on Monday too. But I want to acknowledge Tom C, who joined our out of 299 support level tier since our last show. He has joined Discord, has already been active in there. So it's nice to have yet one more lonely man on Hockey Card Tinder.
Unlonelied. He got unlonelied. Yeah. And you haven't said anything about my mustache. I've trimmed it. You haven't said one word. You can't tell?
You kind of haven't shaved your beard, so it's sort of blending in. All right. Is that like a 5 o'clock? Did you shave at like 2 o'clock, and that's just how much it's grown since then?
No, this is 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm lazy, man. I'm working outside all the time. What do I need to shave for? I just shave the neck. That's all that matters.
I have not mentioned, because I'm going to wait for Louis, because I know he'd be upset, that you did ditch us last night, and
I'm sorry.
Grant was upset. He
Yeah.
cried. I
It's
mean,
okay.
not like he cried, but
Yeah.
his eyes sweated a little bit when you went on a date. So we'll get, we'll let you keep your private life private, but we know
Thank
where
you.
we stand, right? It's like we're all about hockey cards in the Gong Show until a girl comes around, and it's like, come on.
Ditch you losers. I need it. Sometimes we need to go out and
Sometimes you do.
just unleash. Yeah.
Well, like I said, today's a little bit of a special show, and we're just going to go ahead and roll with our first guest. Mitch Gropman is a Cup super collector, super fan, super knowledgeable guy, and has helped lead the charge against fake patches. We chatted with him earlier tonight, and we hope you enjoy this conversation with Mitch Gropman. We are pleased to welcome back Florida Panthers super fan, Mitch Gropman, to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. Hey, Mitch, how's it going, bud?
Doing great. Very excited for the game tonight.
Yeah, big game. We'll talk about that at the end, but also a big day of hobby news today. Hobby news. And when this first came out, I immediately thought of you. Well, both you and Jeremy, really, because you guys have sort of led the charge from the trenches in the hobby in combating the fake patch or patch swapping issue. I know you have a very popular and great resource for the hobby. Your Instagram account, of course, is it fake patch?
Fake hockey patches.
Fake hockey patches. Okay. Yeah. So please, everyone go check that out and follow that account, because anytime you run across any verified fake patches, you definitely update and provide the photographic evidence. So we had the news launch today, or announced today, by Upper Deck. And we'll kind of go through again, get your feedback on exactly what they're doing. But just give me what was your gut reaction? Was it when you saw what was going down?
Yeah, my initial reaction was very positive, because it's the first time that I've seen a manufacturer really tackle this problem in a direct way. And I mean, prior to today, I mean, what the manufacturers have done to stop this is basically nothing. And this is in my opinion, a dynamite way to protect certain cards from patch faking. And I've never gotten more DMs in one day from a piece of hobby news than today. I went and counted before I came on here. Got 42 DMs.
Wow.
And there's a lot of criticism for this program, and some of the criticisms I think are ridiculous, and some of them I think are valid. So I'd love to like kind of go through what like criticisms I've seen and just kind of give my take on those.
100%. We'll do that right now. So I've kind of felt like I'm just curious to see if your thoughts match the same, but to me, it's felt like 70-30 negative to positive. Is that what you, or do you think it's closer 50-50?
It's hard to say, because I don't know that everyone who is complaining about it actually thinks it's a negative, or if they just think, well, if I did it, I would do it better. Here's a better way to do it. But to me, it'd be hard to argue that anything actually bad is coming from this. Because from my perspective, the alternative that we've had forever is nothing. And one of the biggest criticisms I've seen is, well, what if you want to grade the card? And there's nothing stopping you from grading a card still. If you want to crack it and grade the card, you can do that just as you normally would. But now you have the additional option of keeping it in this Upper Deck authenticated slab and knowing forever that your product is uncirculated, the patch is legit. It doesn't have to worry about any extracurricular condition issues from I don't know if everyone knows that the cup is hand packed. So there's, every single card is getting held by someone at Upper Deck and shoved into one of those black foam inserts.
Fondled with.
Yeah. So that's getting taken away from it. Now, when the breaker's handling it, they're not, messing up the card. And it's really easy to crack a slab. I mean, if you're damaging cards, cracking slabs, I mean, you gotta, I don't know, do some practice or something.
No,
I've
I'm
never,
an easy target. I've never damaged a card cracking a slab. No.
Okay.
I've cracked tons of slabs. I've never damaged a card. I think that's a really weak argument against this program.
Yeah.
The criticism that I've seen that I think is somewhat valid is, okay, so we know Upper Deck has this database with all the cards. Why can't we just see them all?
Yeah.
And I called before. So this morning I watched Grant on your show. I watched that interview, and then I called him because I just had to press him on this issue. And it's not a technical obstacle. They know they have the ability to do it, and the best I could get out of him was that it's part of their strategy to not reveal all the cards at once.
Yeah, there has to be more, right, Mitch? Like, you don't serial number a serial number. Just
I get it. So what you're saying, and that does make sense, that if they publish this database on Wednesday, the day the cup is released, and everybody gets to, you could go in and see every single Bedard RPA or every Fantilli, whatever their player is, that then there's, that takes away the magic of them being discovered over the next, or like prior to this, 8 months from now, somebody opens a box and hits the most beautiful Bedard RPA, and that becomes a discovery where that element goes away if they're just revealed carte blanche day one, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you guys, I mean, I don't know if either of you guys were collecting back in 2016, but they published a photo of every McDavid Cup RPA in the product pack out preview, where you can see all 99 McDavid Cup RPAs. And just my opinion, I don't feel like that took away from the magic of that product. That was one of the hottest products of the last 15 years, is 15-16 Cup. So I personally don't see the harm in it. I remember back when Jeremy did the 08-09 Cup pack out, and he took a picture of all the patches, and a lot of those images got published. I saw a lot of them on Cloud Sanchara. This was back in 2009. They posted just tons of images of cards from that product. And I actually think, for me personally, it had the opposite effect, where I saw a bunch of cards that I wouldn't have even known existed had I not seen them in that pack out image preview. And I saw, wow, that patch is sick. That patch is sick. And to me, that created a bigger chase. My recollection of it is that people were more excited about 08-09 Cup because they could see so many of the cards before they actually got pulled. And even in Upper Deck's product, pack out previews, we've seen them post hundreds of cards from the product. So to me, I think it's I don't think the argument really holds weight. I have to think that there must be a better reason than that, that they won't disclose, that they won't actually publish all the photos. But that was by far the biggest criticism that I've seen, is people not understanding, okay, we know you have all the data, you have all the images, why can't we see them? Because my concern in 20 years, I think a lot of them will get cracked, because a lot of people, even the people that like the idea, don't seem to like the actual design of the slab. People, I've heard that a lot. They think it's an ugly slab. I don't really care. I don't like slabs at all. But I think a lot of them will get cracked, and then in 20 years, I think it's unlikely that people will keep the codes, but the data will still be there. They still have all the data with the images.
Maybe they'll reveal it within a year or something like that, when they feel that period is over. Yeah, we'll have to, I guess, see how it plays out.
So that was another thing I suggested to Grant. I was like, what about every time you release the cup now, you've released the rest of the images from the previous product, now that one's no longer being ripped as much? And he basically just said he doesn't see that happening. So I tried to press him on a lot of these things. One thing that I don't think you guys touched on that I asked him about was if previously it was not unusual to get more than one cup RPA in a tin. if there would be any tins with multiple slabs. He said no, only one slab per tin. No tins will have more than one slab. So
Did
that
you
was
ask him about
interesting.
because the gold RPAs? I heard that
Yeah,
today
yeah.
from
He,
someone.
he said none of the gold and none of the parallels are going to have slabs. It's only the base set of 249 and 99.
Okay.
Yeah, I was curious about that as well.
Huh. That is interesting. To me, as I've like they're settled on this news and I tried to sort it out for myself, the thing that I keep coming back to is this a scalable solution? Right? Because obviously the cup RPAs are huge cards in the hobby, but they're not the only huge patch cards in the hobby. And there's other ones that you've chronicled and tried to become a resource for the hobby. And it's like, we just saw a McDavid Future Watch Auto patch from SB Authentic sell for $30,000 the last week.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this could be applied to a SP Authentic where those are 1 in 100 boxes maybe. And as it comes down to like the weight of the box being consistent, the pack out being consistent, I just don't it's very easy with cup RPAs because there's one in every box. I
Yeah.
don't know how they expand the solution to other of the most important patch cards in the hobby.
Yeah. I mean, to me, and I'm, I don't know everything that happens at Upper Deck. I know there's going to be a ton of limitations that I'm not privy to.
Mhm.
It seems like it would be easier and cheaper just to put like a sticker on the card as they used to do back in the day when they had dual shields where each side of the card had a shield on it. They put a sticker on one of the sides because they couldn't put the certificate of authenticity on the card because the whole thing
Yeah.
was taken up. So it's easy to imagine a system where they just put a sticker with the number on the card and you look it up and you can see a photo of the card. But they have their reasons why they went this route. I don't know. It's easy for us to speculate that other things do seem easier and not as expensive. But we don't have all the information. I'm sure, like it's hard for me to imagine that they haven't considered these options, and there's not a
Yeah.
good reason why they haven't done it. But I would love if we get a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain to understand
Mhm.
why.
Well, I think there's two kind of core points that I want to mention is, and you've already done this, but to reiterate, as easy as it is to get lost in the sauce with the mechanics of how they're doing this, it should be celebrated that they are trying to protect collectors and protect the hobby, and they're doing it in a big way, whether you agree with that way or not. You can't. I think hopefully everyone can universally applaud the effort and
Yeah,
the intention behind what they're doing. And as I've thought through just the complexity of this solution, probably the expense on their end, and almost all the factors, it leads me very similarly, I think, to you to think that there has to be a bigger picture to this that we're just not. It's kind of like the iceberg thing. We're seeing the tip of the iceberg, but we don't see the 98% of it that's under the water
right.
right now, because I agree. It's like, well, the card serial number, take a picture of it and make a database, and then you're not having to figure out and pay for encapsulating cards and operating websites that have database, that
Maybe the secret's in the authority website because Grant said they don't own that's a different company, right?
I don't know about that.
I'm
I
pretty well,
mean,
I find that the most interesting part. Like, why create a new why not keep it in-house? Like
he didn't
we
say
own the
they didn't own
pictures.
it. I think he didn't want. My take on that, Phil, was that he felt he didn't want to say it's like an Upper Deck patch authentication website. Like he kept mentioning that it's used for their Evo platform and all of their other
Yeah.
UD authentic. So I think it's
Okay.
going to be a big catch-all sort of authentication platform that they may, who knows, maybe they're going to allow other companies to use it too and make
Okay.
it a business, and maybe that's why they would distance the Upper Deck brand from it, but I don't know about that.
I know, Mitch, you and I share, we're not big slab guys, especially not for our thicker cards, cup cards, exquisite cards. I still would like your opinion though. Do you see PSA kind of waking up today and being like, well, that was interesting? Or do you think maybe they've already been talking about it? Well, I think they have a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's confirmed what they've been talking. My hope is that at least one or two of the grading companies can figure out a way to incorporate either the QR code or the number from the authority onto the slab. It's hard for me to imagine that on a PSA slab because I just don't think they have enough room for it. And Beckett,
Maybe
I
on
think
the back.
maybe on the back. Yeah, I mean they already have a QR code on the back for PSA. So having a second QR code probably be confusing. Tag also has QR codes on their slab, so it's hard to imagine it. But I think if they could figure out a way just to add the number, that would be huge. And if I'm a grading company, I would think let's figure out a new way to get ahead. And if we can do it and the others can't, then people might gravitate towards grading these cards with those companies. So, I mean, there's definitely a competitive advantage to figuring out how to do it if I'm a grading company, I would think.
Well, through the magical podcasting, Mitch, as you're listening to this tomorrow, right after our talk with you, we'll have Brad Hartlin from PSA is going to be on the show, and I think is going to answer some of these questions. Interestingly, I've heard conflicting reports, and I've heard that even from that somebody that talked to the president of PSA that there has not been conversations, at least at a material level. And here's my thing on the grading. I don't see it happening. And we'll ask Brad this directly. And here's why. I have two reasons. First of all, PSA is a massive grading machine. It's like Amazon. It's a massive logistics company. They can't just, they pump out 1.5 million cards a month and so for them to just throw another number on their label is not a simple thing. I mean, that's like changing your core processes as a company. So you really have to want to do that and go through the expense and all the systems, machines, printers, recalibrate everything. So there's that. The second thing is, if you think about if I'm PSA and now I have 2 certification numbers on a slab, how many people are going to be calling their customer service saying, I'm on the PSA website, I'm entering this number in, and it says my card doesn't exist.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, you can say that won't happen. That will happen all the time, and it will create a huge amount of confusion.
Yeah, I think logistically is probably the biggest obstacle. I agree. It does seem like a logistical nightmare. I think if you put authority : and then the number, of course, there's still going to be
the number, and
there's still going to be some people.
You're giving people too much credit, Gropman.
It's not
the computer
card. There's not that many cup RPAs, so it's not like it could happen that much. And I think I don't know how many people are going to keep them slabbed or how many are going to get cracked.
Nobody. I really don't. I saw a comment. Someone's like, "You're an idiot if you're actually going to crack this slab." No, I don't think you are. I don't think you're an idiot if you don't, and I don't think you're an idiot if you do. It's just the way you like to collect. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see all these things shaping up.
Can I respond though to that, Mitch, real quick? Because what you're saying isn't untrue, of course, but I go back to again scalability. This seems like so much effort and infrastructure for Upper Deck to build around the solution, only to do it on cup RPAs. And so yeah, you're right. There's not a ton of cup RPAs, but again, this whole grading issue of having 2 certification numbers on a label, front or back or whatever it is it makes it less likely that it's scalable because it makes the problem of confusion grow. And I think the other point I want to make on what if the wrong numbers entered in on the PSA cert lookup site, well, the implication of that, right, is if somebody enters the wrong number, it's that the card is fake. It does that in their hands, or that they're interested in buying it because it's not in the PSA database.
What if it was only you scan your PSA QR code and the authority link was in the PSA page, but it wasn't on the actual slab?
And cut a check to PSA, then be like, "Thank you for doing our legwork."
Well, here's the idea that I had today. If Upper Deck was going to go through now, you guys have to, I know you guys aren't huge graders, so you have to, if their intent was to encapsulate cards, if they said we're gonna encapsulate cards no matter what, why not just have them graded by PSA? And then they're in the PSA database. PSA takes pictures of every what card that they grade now, and you crack it. And if you don't want it graded, you just crack it when you're done.
I could see so many people, like maybe the
Expecting
player
10.
nicks a card and then you get a PSA 6 out of the box, and then people would just be so mad. I think people would just be like, I don't think there's any way to, like, people don't understand why cup cards aren't all PSA 10s like out of the pack, and I think if you do it that way, it'll just like make those people even angrier. And I think if I'm Upper Deck, I wouldn't do that, because I've seen these comments like every cup release. Oh, how is this damaged? Like, I mean, it's crazy.
Can you run through that for people that might not know?
Yeah. So the cup, first of all, it's the thickest cardstock that they use. It is hand packed. It's the only hand packed product that Upper Deck has. It has the most autographs per card of any product. So many of these cards are getting handled by the players, and then the rep of the player, and then the manufacturer, and then the people packing it, and then the breaker opening it. Billy. So there's
the players got their Cheetos fingers while their mom says, "Well, look at that card." You know,
like Dustin Bufflin looks like a messy eater. For
yeah,
sure.
You can imagine that Brady Tkachuk doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to be real condition sensitive when he's handling his cards.
No, not at all.
And there might be, like we saw the Matthew Tkachuk, like half of his cup cards from 2 years ago were all dinged and everything. He probably didn't give a shit. Or else I don't know. But it's people don't realize the players are actually handling these cards, and if you want on-card autographs, which is one of the biggest selling points of the cup, you have to accept that the players have to handle the card, and they're going to get a little damage sometimes. And they're also going to be hand packed, and that can create some damage too. So they're also the most sensitive of the card stocks. So of course, the cup cards are not going to be PSA 10s all the time, because they're not just run through some machine never touched by a human hand like a Young Gun.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that comes with, and if you kind of wrap your head around it, it's part of the charm of it, right? That the miles that this card has traveled in order to get to you, and specifically in the hands of the player, right? It was sitting at their house or at the practice facility, wherever they end up, where they get signed.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to use that as a means to implore people to not really care about whether or not your cup card, I see limited logos and slabs. I'm like, no one that collects limited logos cares about the great. Like, I don't know anyone that collects those that keeps them in slabs. I mean, if it's, I'm sure, all of mine would grade like a 6, 7, or 8. And no one cares, as long as the damage isn't distracting. It doesn't. The importance isn't the condition of the card; it's the card itself.
It matters more for like base Young Guns, or if you're a Young Guns collector.
They all look the same, and you need some way to differentiate them. And there's thousands of them.
Let's say let's keep it. Let's simplify the moment real good. What is the easiest way that Upper Deck could have solved this problem? And my thing is I'm pretty sure they put a camera on the end of the line. If you just took a picture of every card and uploaded a very simple database of every card, patch RPA, with the serial number and picture of front and back, and that leave it up to the customer and just put it as an extension on your website. You don't need a QR code. You don't need anything. The card's already serial numbered, right? So that, in my mind, would have been the easiest. And obviously they would have done that. But just to go back to what we were saying, there has to be more coming. Like, you don't need a QR code. You don't need a hologram, nothing. Just take little pictures. Dude, you could get a part-time person to figure that problem out. No problem at all.
Because the card itself has a unique identifier in the serial.
And then take it a next step. Add a hologram to it. I like that. A hologram sticker like the old buyback ones. This is what they've done is they killed a mosquito with a sledgehammer. Now, would a very successful multi-decade company kill a mosquito with a sledgehammer? Probably not. So there's got to be something coming. There has to be. And I find that's where my excitement's coming. What's in the pipeline, right? Everyone's going to berate, oh, they're so dumb, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, guys, I'm sure a multi-million-dollar company is so dumb. Like, there's got to be something coming. Something.
Yeah, I have to think they have huge plans with the authority, and this is just their introduction. And like, here's a good way for us to introduce it. But yeah, I mean, I know that they are, if this goes well, they're going to consider using it for other cards. I have no idea how they'll do it for something like SP Authentic. But
maybe sticker, maybe QR, like maybe that is like, okay,
maybe they'll have different approaches. Yeah.
If this run doesn't go great, we're gonna do plan B. And it might be a QR code, it might be a stick. I don't see how they wouldn't get to that at some point.
Okay, so Mitch, if I'd asked you 2 days ago or a day ago, and I said Upper Deck is going to unveil a new innovation or approach or technology or strategy, however you want to put it, to solving the fake patch problem. I want you to write down your top 100 guesses as to what they're going to do. Would this have been in your top 100 guesses?
Yeah, I think slabbing the cards would have been in my top 100.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been in mine. But,
No.
I mean, it's, they're
smarter than us, Josh. That's why he's our guest.
You know what my actual like number one solution for this is just make the cup RPAs have an acetate front, and so there's acetate covering the patch, and then you can't do anything to it.
No, I still want to see pictures of the cards, man. I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone.
But
Database. Get out of here, Gropman.
We've seen cards with acetate over the patch, and they look gorgeous. Like National Treasures had them with a signature over that. I thought those are awesome cards. You can never fake them because you can't get into the window.
My number one solution was like, if you got like use super glue. Have you guys ever used Gorilla Glue? If you Gorilla Glue you could use a glue that would destroy the card if you try to, and everybody would just know. It's like, well, if I try to swap this patch, the card is done.
Yeah,
that's actually a really simple idea. Just glue it. Damn it! Why didn't we think of that?
I think there's like logistical reasons. I thought like 10 years ago I had a conversation with someone at Upper Deck about this, and there's a good reason not to use glue that strong.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Josh. No idea.
Well, I mean, it could. Mitch, you made the point right away, right? It's easy in the peanut gallery at times to think of that something is so obvious when you don't have a complete understanding of the mechanics of how building and packaging sports cards works.
Yeah.
And we all have to admit we don't, right? Because we're not we're on the other side of the curtain here.
Yep, 100%.
Yes, sir.
Well, okay, let me ask you this question, Mitch. Now, does this, and I think again, going back to the big picture and the intention of all this, if there's a cup RPA that you really want and it's in one of these slabs, does it make you more confident in purchasing that card that it hasn't been altered or swapped at that point?
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%.
There you go, right?
If I know for a fact if it's in the slab and it's the patch is sick, and that takes away all the hesitancy that you might have. So so to me, it totally succeeds in that, which is one of the biggest issues with the current landscape of the patches.
Would you crack the slab if it's a limited logo slab? Let's say it's 5 years from now.
Yeah, 1,000,000% I'm cracking the slab. I'll keep the slip because then I can always have the information and prove
That's where I want the sticker. I can't keep this goes with this. Like
put it in the back of the sleeve or the one touch.
Oh, come on, man. We're dudes. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work for me.
We're lucky Phil showed up on time.
Yeah.
We are.
I'm actually quite punctual.
You are.
I would put the little insert on the back of the one touch and not think about it ever again.
I don't think it's that simple. I think in theory it's that simple, but like, I don't know, man. So is putting away your laundry. Doesn't always happen.
Okay, well, here's a question. Let's say it's 10 years down the road. Bedard turns out to be very, very good. I'm not going to compare him to somebody, but he exceeds expectations, right? Where he's a major hobby chase still. You have one of his RPAs and you lose the
Oh.
label. You cracked it, you've lost the label. Is it worth less now that it doesn't have that label proof?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, see that? Then no. Then this conversation is ridiculous. Absolutely not. My collecting and asset value is not based on my location of rectangle.
But you're comparing it to ones that have that certificate. So to me,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, okay, then it's less.
Maybe
Yeah.
if none of them had it, then
Yeah.
it wouldn't be worth less. But it's worth less compared to the ones that have that sticker of confidence that that patch is legit.
All right.
That's kind of why. I mean, it'll be in any decision, right? In life, there's intended and unintended consequences. So it's always fascinating to see how stuff like this plays out over time. And, because I'm sure there's given this news is very fresh, there's 3 or 4 things that we don't even realize yet that could be huge positives or maybe even negative of some sort.
Yeah, to me, even if you have, even if you feel like, oh, you should have done it this way or this way, it's if you're not someone that sees this as a net positive, then I don't know. I think you just are.
And maybe poor questions here, but maybe it is worth just in case somebody, because I have heard this comment about, is this even a problem? Right, where people are, and so you would be probably one of the best people, maybe to let some folks that are not as familiar with the impact that fake patches have had to give us a sense of kind of how big of an issue this is in your mind.
Yeah, to me, it's a colossal issue. There are some people who think that this used to happen all the time because there was this one guy who faked like hundreds of patch cards between like 2007 and 2010. But we saw.
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people who thinks Josh is a little too paranoid.
Well, Jason Robertson, right?
That's what I was just going to bring up. We saw with Jason Robertson and Jay Gottinger, one guy just decided to fake like 8 of his top patches, and if that took a lot of detective work to even figure out that happened, but it could have easily been missed. The guy could have just held on to them for 2 years and no one would have ever known.
Yeah.
This totally takes that out of it. I think it's still something that is a big potential issue. I think that maybe there's more. I mean, there's certainly more than we know about and that we just aren't aware of. But this takes away any of the doubt when we see a patch that's too good to be true.
Would you still buy a card? Sorry, Josh. Would you still buy a card if you really, really want it and it doesn't have the slip in 5 years, but you feel it's authentic? Would you still buy it without the number?
Yeah, I mean, I would do my own. I have a lot of different ways that I, will research a card and make my own.
It'll probably be an open database by then. I mean, it's got I do not see why that would be private and mysterious. That makes sense.
I hope so.
Yeah, just from a hobby point of view, just like, hey, oh, you really like cards, eh, Phil? Yeah, man. Here, check out this website from Upper Deck. Look at all these beautiful cards in this set.
Can I push back on one thing though, and I'll use the other example I was going to bring up. And we just had this on our top 5 video yesterday, where we had from the you will know this set very well. It was a basketball set, the 2009 Exquisite set, where they did the rookie tribute flashbacks, and we had a Wayne Gretzky sell for $35,000 US. Phil, imagine spending $35,000 on a card, and then 3 months later, somebody sending you a picture and saying, "Guess what, buddy? That card that you bought here's the real version of it."
Yeah.
I mean, that would be devastating.
Yeah. And I've
that would really suck. Yeah,
I've on multiple occasions shown people that their patch on their card is fake and they quit the hobby.
Well, you're a dreams killer then.
It's not about, but to me, that's why I feel so passionate about it, is because I've seen this problem destroys people's entire interest in this whole hobby. And if we can do anything we can to combat that to me is a huge service to what we do.
Oh, and I should finish my thought. That was a great comment, and thank you for that. But I realize I kind of gave half the information. So the thing about the 2009 exquisite tribute cards is there's like 7 or 8 hockey players in that set, and some of them, like the Steve Yzermans, what is it, like 8 or 9 are known to have been, out of the 25, have been swapped. I mean, so there's a big percentage of, it's not just a onesie twosie issue with those cards.
Yeah, there's quite a few cards where we know of, 5+ of that card have been swapped. The 06-07 Ovechkin limited logos, the 07-08 Patrick Kane Cup RPA, and Jonathan Taves. So some people, will see, oh, well, it looks like this one, but no, that one's also fake. And then it gives you a false sense of security. And then you realize, oh, well, this is actually a huge problem. And then people say, well, if I can't know, then I'm just going to quit.
Yeah. Well, and I've even seen you in some cases, as you've proven that some of these cards are fake patches. It wasn't too long ago. I think it was on an Ovi. You were doing like stitching analysis. You were like, they never wore a jersey that had stitching like this. So there's no way this patch can be real.
Yeah.
So it's kind of had to get down to that level. Okay, I want to talk about a couple other things. I want to ask you to get some opinions on 23, the Cup, which comes out next week, since we have you. But is there anything else, though, or Phil, any other questions you have, or anything else, Mitch, on this new innovation that Upper Deck announced today that you think is important for people to know?
I don't think so. But I do hope that people are less critical about it than I've seen so far. I hope that people realize the net benefit this gives for the hobby. And I really, even if we think, X, Y, or Z method might have been more efficient or easier, at the end of the day, Upper Deck is giving us something that is a net positive. And it's a new thing, and it's an innovation which becomes exceedingly rare as we go on throughout time in this hobby. It becomes harder and harder to actually innovate, and I think they've done that today.
Yeah, I think a point too that I make on the feedback that I've observed in why I personally want this to play out a little bit is I said, like, my impression is like 70-30 negative. I think human nature a lot of times is to be negative right away. Like, when we don't understand something, we don't know the reason, is that a lot of people tend to react negatively to stuff. And so I think that probably evens out a little bit over time, if nothing else, or doesn't swing the other way.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Any closing questions or thoughts on this, Phil, before we move on to...
We covered pretty much everything. Yeah.
Okay. So big week. You got your Panthers in the playoffs, and on Wednesday, 23-24, the Cup is released. When you saw the checklist, what's like some of your initial reactions and impressions that you had?
The checklist looked stronger than the last couple of years to me. The designs also looked really good. I'm gonna wait until we actually get more product previews. But the designs to me looked really good. I really liked that they went back to a vertical limited logos, which they've only done one time before, in 2007, 2008. It's a lot of people I've seen the complaint that they don't like the sideways autograph on the new limited logos, but I don't know if people realize that 06-07 is maybe the most desired limited logo set ever, and those also have sideways autographs. Yeah. So if it bothers you, I don't think the hobby agrees with that. I don't know. I think they look really sharp. I think I saw a preview for a Gordie Howe monumental with a whaler. I'm hoping I'm hoping that's real and not just a product. Yeah, like generated image. That'd be a huge card. I don't think he's definitely never had a monumental card before. So that would be pretty sick if that's indeed what the card is. But yeah, I mean, so far it looks really good. They did the Bedard game used jersey, which I think is a huge step in the right direction. And not only did they do that, they did something they've never done before, where they actually said exactly what game it's from.
Yeah, it's amazing, eh? Woo,
that's massive too. And I think that is just as big, if not bigger, than this encapsulation thing. And that this helps them sort of compete now with Fanatics, who's really pushed the envelope in this regard. And, I think from high-end hockey sets, and this is a drum that I beat all the time, but this is what I think needs to happen. I really believe that if you have in the cup these highest of highest cards that have impeccable provenance, it just makes it a whole different chase.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Have they ever done that before or in the cup, or is this the first time where they've mentioned specific game?
They've in the first year of the cup, there are a couple players where it'll say this jersey's from like a 1972 All-Star game. But other than that, I have not seen specific games mentioned in the memorabilia.
Was there any like particular, like going back to like Legends Unlimited logos, or anything else that really stood out to you where it's like, oh wow, this player has limited logos and they haven't had one in 10 years or something like that?
Well, I saw there was an update for a Pavel Bure one from 17-18 update, and that's a Canucks card, so I know that'll be a really big card. He just signed a bunch of cards that came back recently. I imagine that the Pavel Bure stuff will be one of the biggest chases. He also has a shield, which will be a big deal.
Which Vancouver, blue or black?
I have no idea. I just read the
that matters. That'll be big, yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I didn't see any like new players on the checklist in terms of veterans and legends that I haven't seen before that I can recall. I'm still holding out hope that one day I'll get my Phil Esposito limited logos. It's never been made before. But
is that an all-in card for you? Like, but damned the price. You're going.
Yeah, if Phil Esposito gets the limited logos, that might be a card where I just want to get as many copies as I can.
Oh, you pull Phil. And my pro tip out for anyone, if you're interested, like if you're a Legends collector and you go to hockeychecklist.com and go to the checklist in the search menu, if you type in HOF, it instantly pulls up every Hall of Fame player in the entire cup. Or you can do it by set too. So it makes it very easy to find cards like that.
Mitch, that's huge. That's a big deal. That's everything you've ever wanted. That's perfect. Josh did that for you. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm the kind of lunatic who basically memorizes every cup checklist.
Yeah, he does. Computers. What are computers?
Were you surprised that the price is lower than probably we all expected?
At first I was, and then I thought about it more, and I think because of the delay and how long it's taken for the product to come out, and because of how Bedard has performed, it's a little bit less surprising to me. I think we're at a point now where a lot of people are kind of thinking, okay, he might be good, but he's not the next McDavid. And I think that's played a big contributor towards it. I think also in general, wax prices seem to not be as high as they were. Yeah. So I was a little surprised, but not terribly. And I think a lot of it was. But I mean, well, you think about previous years that didn't have Bedard and they were higher. So yeah. I guess from that perspective,
kind of a win in that regard, though, right? I mean, I think maybe a year ago we were all sort of dreading, what if it's $2,000 a tin, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've heard that conversation a lot in the past. So, I think it's a great thing. Hopefully, more people can participate and get into these cards. I always try to emphasize to people that you can collect cup cards at a very low price point. You can buy Hall of Fame patch autos from the cup for $25.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's so I'm just gonna limit it to this year. What's the favorite PC cup card that you've added this year?
Favorite PC cup card that I've added this year is, I don't have it in hand yet, so I won't tell you. But that's kind of
Mitch. I actually, when people ask me if I've bought new cards as well, I say no until it's in my hand. because you never know, a lot can happen.
Right. That's kind of a cop-out answer. Let me think of what I've actually got. I got the Barkov Cup Shield from 21-22.
Show it.
Nice.
Oh, it's in I'll go grab it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, we got time.
Power
We
of
got time.
editing.
Phil, you have a good day?
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it
Okay.
was long. I'm trying to get into card mode. I'm in card mode. Don't worry. Yeah, things are good. I always
You
forget.
gonna tell Mitch about your date last night? You're glowing.
No. I'm not
Okay.
glowing. I'm tired. Oh, look at that. That is so what a year, eh? With 22, 23.
This is 21-22.
There we go.
Very nice. Louis would be so proud because they actually centered the shield. He's been going on a tirade lately because every shield seems to be horribly off-centered in the patch window. So you got lucky there.
That's ultimate. The cup is the best.
Yeah, it was a beautiful card. I saw it. Like I snapped by it now that within like 2 minutes of it getting listed.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've been trying to get other Barkov shields, and I offered like 2x in value to another guy who has one for what I paid compared to this one. So I'm super happy I got that one. And then today I got this in the mail. It's not from Cup, but
nice.
Oh, it kind of looks like a Nashville patch, though. See, I know it's not. I know it's the Panther.
It's the bottom of the shield. It's the
I know.
the shield. Yeah.
On first looking at it,
Sure. Yeah.
You cheat on the cup? That's interesting. Didn't think you would.
I have some ultimate cards.
Okay. You're Panthers. So you're like in every fan's dream. You just won the Stanley Cup. You look like you're a total powerhouse again. As someone whose team never wins, tell me what that feels like.
It feels pretty amazing, and it's hard to believe considering from 1997 to 2022, this franchise did not win a single playoff series. And now it looks like we might be one game away from going to our third straight Stanley Cup Finals. I also am enjoying how much everyone hates the Panthers now, because it's so much better than people not caring. Everyone hates you. I don't know. I love it.
Being relevant in a negative way is still being relevant.
But your team is awesome, and it's what the league needs in that you have like 3 legitimate heels. You have Matthew Tkachuk, who's kind of the ultimate heel. You got Marchand, and I would throw Sam Bennett a little bit in there by his play style and how he plays there. And so it's like, it looks like it'll be you versus Edmonton again, the rematch. Are you confident? Are you scared about this one? Where are you at?
Well, I mean, after hearing that Zach Hyman's out for the year, that definitely changes how I feel about it. I mean, I went to 2 games last year and went in like 2 finals games, and watching McDavid just skate through everyone in person and just score seemingly whenever he wants is always going to be intimidating. So I actually feel like people are kind of overestimating us because we've been beating up on teams that aren't as good as, like, in my opinion, like Dallas and Colorado.
You're nervous. That's cool. You're nervous.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's like a gimme at all. Even tonight, I don't know that we're gonna win. I think game 4 we didn't have Reinhart, Mikkola, and Greer. We really felt that. Bob's been amazing. So I think if Bob keeps looking like he's looked in the last 10 games, I think he's been statistically the best goalie in the NHL in that time. So as long as, I think if we stay healthy, we have a really good shot. But there's still a lot of hockey left.
Do you want to hear my McDavid nightmare scenario?
Yeah.
You guys win and he wins the Conn Smythe again.
I'm in a Panthers group chat and we've been talking about that. Like if the Oilers win, then we might not, because none of our guys have been like singularly amazing. We just have like crazy depth. Like all of our defensemen are scoring. Everyone's playing well, but again, it's like last year where there's not one guy who's just kind of dominating, and I could see McDavid having some 14-point finals and getting another.
I hope so. For all of Canada, we need the cup.
He slams it on the ice and breaks it in half, because he doesn't want to. If I was a Panthers fan, I think what would concern me the most is, Matty T he gets injured a lot.
He's injured right now. He's clearly not healthy. I mean, he's slow. He looks like the slowest guy on the ice every game he's played in the playoffs. I think he really
Like his
got
brother
hurt
Brady.
in four nations. I don't think he ever really recovered, and he just wanted to.
Oh,
Like he played in the 2 years ago. He played in the finals with cracked ribs,
A broken sternum, wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. I mean, I
Which
don't
is
know how.
like
What's a
crazy
sternum
to
right
do.
here?
Yeah.
This is-
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
the thing
How
that
do you
connects
break
all the
that?
ribs.
the amount of pain that broken sternum is supposed to be immense. Like,
How do you put a cast on that?
Well, I heard
don't.
that. Yeah, you don't. I heard that Brady had to put Matthews' jersey on before the game because he couldn't do it himself because it hurt too much.
Oh man, imagine going to the bathroom. Oh god,
Yeah,
that
right.
would kill.
no, you know what the nightmare is? When sneezing. Like,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
have to sneeze with a broken sternum, you're in a world of hurt.
I hurt my
At
neck
that point.
once, and I was scared to sneeze. I couldn't even imagine what like right in the center. Oh god.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not been himself. He's clearly very injured. He's always been kind of a slow skater, but he's
They're
exceptional.
bad skaters. The Kachucks are all bad skaters.
Yeah, right.
All right, well, you got a game to watch, and soak it up. You're living the dream of every hockey fan.
It while I can, for sure. I'll
Really appreciate your thoughts.
Oh yeah. Thanks so much for having me on.
Appreciate you, Gropman.
Yeah. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What did you think, Phil? Good info?
I think Mitch presents himself very well, very patient, very structured. Yeah, he's a beauty. I'm going to sum up everything he said, and I like it in this statement he made. If you don't think this is net positive for the entire hobby, I don't know. I don't remember what he said, but if you don't think it's net positive for the entire hobby, maybe you shouldn't be in the hobby. Something. I don't mean it to sound rude, but just like, why are you in the hobby then? Why would you be in? It's a great starting point, and I like how you and I probably disagree and agree on some things. So does Mitch. But at the end of the day, it's the right direction. It's the right direction. If it needs to be tweaked along the way, that's good. And I feel Mitch understands that. His eyebrows were a little twitchy on certain topics, just like us. But overall, very positive news and a lot to digest.
I agree. Another way to put it maybe is like losing sight of the forest through the trees, where there's been, and rightfully so. I mean, everyone's entitled to have their own opinion on the slab or the approach versus what else could have been done, should have been done. But it needs to be celebrated that Upper Deck is doing something that they technically didn't have to do.
Yeah, no one else has done it. Tops hasn't done it. Panini hasn't done it. Leaf hasn't done it. President's Choice hasn't done it.
And it's not object permanence too. If this is,
I don't know what that means.
It means that it can change in the future. So if the hobby summarily doesn't like this approach, I'm sure Upper Deck will modify.
Yeah. All right, give them their sticker on the back and QR code, get rid of the slab, and it'd probably be cheaper for them to do it too. But like we said, something else is coming. It's got to be,
I agree. Well, we're going to roll in from our conversation with Mitch to Brad Hartlin, president, Grand Poobah director. I don't know.
Grand Poobah, you got it. Yeah.
Grand Poobah PSA Canada. Brad is an amazing human being, first and foremost, and a very knowledgeable person in the hobby and a delight to talk to. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Brad Hartlin from PSA Canada. Well, we are pleased and honored to welcome back to our show Brad Hartlin from PSA Canada on this very interesting day where we got some big news from Upper Deck and how they are protecting cards by encapsulating the cup RPAs with a certification code. And I immediately thought of Brad for a couple reasons. Number one, that you are a longtime collector. You're deeply embedded into the hobby. And so I'm interested in your opinion as a collector. And then, one of the key questions around this, and maybe you don't have all the answers yet, because
you better, Brad.
The news is new news, is how this impacts the grading world. So welcome, Brad, and thanks for joining.
Hey, Josh. Hey, Phil. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I was kind of glued to my screen this morning at the office waiting for this breaking news from Upper Deck to come through. So I was very excited. So I didn't get the news until everyone else did as well, but I was excited to see. to see
We
what
were
it was.
sworn to secrecy, so I had to ask you and both Mitch to come on without divulging what
Yeah,
it
we
was
kept a
about.
secret for a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. So I guess good on us. But so when you first saw what is happening, what was your initial reaction?
At first, I thought it was maybe the cards were going to be graded, and I knew it wasn't by our company. So my first reaction was a little disappointment.
Yeah.
Who got the contract? What? Who got? I didn't get the email.
Yeah, because I did figure I would have heard about it anyways. Yeah, so it was very interesting. I enjoyed listening. I listened to it in two parts. I listened to the beginning part, and then I listened to the full episode later on, just so I could get more of the details. So I did reach out after I seen this to our team at HQ, and as of right now, there's no plans that are in place. So it will be to be determined. I wish I had some breaking news like you guys did today, or something that there was going to happen, but I'm sure that our company would have been in talks with Upper Deck, and if there is something that we can do, I'm sure we will do it, and we'll see. So as of today, just don't have any news, because there is no news to give.
Would it be peculiar for a big company to roll something like this out without referencing another big company that's involved? Would that be peculiar if they didn't?
Yeah, my thoughts would be absolutely. I'm sure. Again, I don't know that. I know I was not in contact with them, but
right.
I'm sure there was contact made between the two companies. I'm quite confident in that. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure there would be, because I think as a company I know we have a good working relationship with Upper Deck. Over the past, some things that have taken place, and and we do
our pay grade.
Yeah, and like we work together every day. Like we have to get checklists from these companies, so we can't grade cards until we have an official checklist. There's just lots of moving parts, so we're constantly, as a company, in contact with all the manufacturers.
I mentioned that we just talked to Mitch Gropman, and I shared my two theories as to if PSA does not work with this in whatever regard, or can't. I'm not saying you wouldn't choose to do it. That here's the reasons why, or the biggest problems that I perceive. Number one is that you guys are a complete monster machine, and to change a label can't be as simple as, oh, let's just throw another number on a label. I don't know how nimble your systems are, but I know in certain circumstances that can be a pretty significant effort to do that, because when you get to the scale that you're at, small changes have huge cascading effects. It's kind of like the Amazon world, right? They can't make a small change in how they deliver without a big ripple effect going across the whole organization. And then the other kind of potential concern that I've thought of is, if you have two different certification numbers on a label, and somebody's on the PSA site and your customer support's getting hammered by, I'm entering this number and it doesn't show up on your site.
Yeah.
There's no way to avoid that. I mean, I'm sorry. You could have like a big, like neon flashing sign on the slab that says, this is not the PSA cert number. And people are going to constantly, that's just how it works, right? That's how human nature exists. And then the implication, if somebody enters a number on the PSA slab on the cert lookup site and it shows no return, then the impression that person has is the card is not real.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys are familiar or not, but we do have that same situation. I get a few calls or emails a week, sometimes more weeks than other, but we have a crossover now. So our cert numbers under PSA actually crossed over with the cert numbers for PSA DNA.
Oh no.
Okay.
So we have numbers where you plug it in, and now we do list both of them, but there was a time. And so I'm sure 30 years ago, maybe this wasn't thought of. However, the scheme, we get to this volume, but there is a crossover in numbers. So now if you enter some cert numbers, that you go psacard.com/cert, you enter in the number, and up for your Brady to Chuck Young Gun PSA 10, and up pops 8x10 Arnold Schwarzenegger picture. And you're like, what the?
Yeah.
but those numbers crossed over. So there's a bunch of numbers that do have two. Now we do list both them, but you have to click on it. So it does cause some confusion. So
Am I kind of on the at least a logical path there that those would be two sort of hurdles to overcome for you guys to work with them on this?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. I mean, to add anything to the flip, and I mean, we have a whole team that will be looking into this. And if, yeah, I was just shocked at it, to tell you the truth, when I first got. And
Get it out, Brad. Get it all out. You'll feel better.
Yeah, honestly, I will say that Phil, I was in agreement with everything that you said at the start of the show.
Whoa. Brad, have you been drinking?
I know, for me to say that. No, but yeah, it did. I love the idea. I absolutely, this swapping has been happening for a long time, and it's very aggravating. And and you simply can't tell. Even us as a grading and authentication company, you can't tell if the patch is swapped out.
That's not your job. Like, that's we try to defend that. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it does come up though. Like, to build your point, right? When known cards that are graded by PSA or somebody else, even for that matter, that we try to make the point, there's no possible way a grading company could ever know, because there's no historical record of what the original card looked like. So if you have nothing to compare a current, that how that card exists today to what it came out of the factory of, there's no way to authenticate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love the idea, like Phil, you pushed on it, to go to the database and put in, 2023-24, the Cup, Connor Bedard out of 99, and boom, you get to see every patch that's on every one of those cards. Perfect. As far as, even taking away the grading aspect of the cards, if Phil, you crack the card out because you like raw cards in your collection, and then you got to keep that like cert with it, and the flip.
Yeah, it's not happening. That's not. Listen, I know. Oh, I won't lose it. Yeah, you will.
Yeah, and it takes most away from the aesthetics of the card. Do you want to tuck it in the back of the slab so you have it there forever? It's like,
no, thank you. No, thank you.
So I do love what Upper Deck has done as their company to put this information out there.
We haven't had a first step to go from. This gives us a starting point to, like, look, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's buzzing. It's a starting point. Yesterday there was nothing. There's something today, right?
Do you know what I thought? I said, well, maybe the slab has some sort of shield on the slab that
bulletproof.
It could avoid CT scanning. Initially that's where my head went. I was like, wouldn't that be great?
Maybe it will. Well, obviously, we were saying with Mitch, there has to be more to this.
Yeah.
Josh said they gave a good analogy. I'm going to steal it. An iceberg, we're just seeing the tip, but there's a whole. There has to be. It would be peculiar not to, right?
Yeah.
It's just such a complicated solution that where there's inherently, it feels like more simpler options, that you feel like that there has to be a bigger picture. But that being said, too, one of the things we did acknowledge with Mitch, which I'm sure you can resonate, having been on both the sides of the fence at PSA, first as a collector and now within the company, that until you get inside a company and understand how complex what things to the average person seem very simple, admittedly there's a context that's missing. And so we might be looking at a solution and being like, well, why wouldn't they just do it this way? And there could be a very legitimate reason on their end that I just don't know, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think someone would have pointed it out. We don't know. It's information that's omitted from the equation.
But to Brad's point, though, like, let's say that they did build CT scanning armor into this slab, it may be to their advantage to never say that publicly, right? Because now you're tipping off the scanner people that.
How would that not, what? So like an Easter egg? Like, oh, they're not going to know what's in the card. And then the CT guy is going to be like, no, because
people with ill intentions are very smart too. And so it's like, oh, you used this whatever material to prevent, well, here's the workaround, done.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're just delaying the inevitable, if that's your theory. I think it's a weak theory.
I do think we all are in agreement that there's more to come.
Yeah. Gotta be.
Yeah. And what I mentioned to Josh earlier as well is I want to make sure when I have information regarding our company that is relayed to me about what our plans are, if any, I'll be sure to share
Yeah.
it with you guys.
So what about Brad the collector? Let's say Brad's at
Brad the
home
collector.
on a
Is he
Friday
there? Can we
night.
speak to him too?
Yes. So
I'm here.
Brad the collector's at home with Sherry on a Friday night, glass of wine, candlelight dinner, and 4 cases of the cup. And he hits all these RPAs. He's getting high on his own supply. Is Brad cracking the slabs and leaving them raw, or is he leaving them in there? What's Brad doing?
I will definitely crack the slab.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and for uniformity. And I will
Yeah.
the majority of my collection is in PSA slabs, and I like uniformity on it. You know, my Stutzel autographs, a PSA 7. I cracked that. I pulled that myself. I got it graded. It's in a 7. I'm good with that. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to keep that card for a long time. And but I could crack it, and maybe if there's flaws with the card, and it's because to me there will be flaws with
I
the
hope
cards.
so. It adds character to them. Josh used a good word, charm. It adds to the charm.
Yeah, and these cards, I know, they are coming right from the manufacturer, but these cards are placed in front of these athletes, and they're transported, they're moved, and as we know, it's very unfortunate they're not necessarily taking care of them like we do. You know, if
Teenagers too, right? Some of the young lads too. RPAs, come on, they don't know what they don't even do the dishes. How are they going to take care of our cards?
Yeah, like any of the big breakers that are out there, I am perfectly fine with them guys handling any type of card they pull from a pack because they are professionals and they know what they're doing. I'm not worried about it. You know, I am worried about cracking it out of the slab because to this day, there's no perfect way to ever crack a slab. I just did what I did. I didn't think about it.
I've gone pretty good.
I picked up this card this week.
Yeah.
And it's a Jaeger Lemieux from the Cup.
Wow.
Dual auto. It's still in the baggie from the Beckett slab. But I cracked it out because it was an 8-10. And
okay.
But for uniformity, I want it in a PSA slab. Like that's and it's not because I'm but I just want that in part of my collection of PSA slab. Then when I cracked it out, I looked at the Lemieux autograph on the bottom, and it's faint in the middle. Like it's just so I'm like, oh, so now I'm not going to get the dual service on it, but I did crack it out of the case.
So why? So you're such a hardcore raw collector, no pun intended. Yeah. Why are you getting a cup card slabbed? Other than like, I'm pretend you don't work for. What are your reasons?
Yeah, so this one is going to go in this display that I'm building. So I'm going to have a display that's a wall-mounted display that's going to have.
Okay.
It's 500 cards on display, and this one's going to go in there. It's a big project that I want to do personally. Okay. So I want it in a PSA slab, and honestly, and then it's authenticated, it's protected, and down the road, I do always think about this. At some point, I want to make it easier on other people if something were to happen to me. Not to be morbid, Sherry.
Well, we're all going to die. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah, when you leave all your cards to me, you want to thank you.
He's leaving them to me. He's leaving them to me.
So the work's
Canadian,
right? The work's done. Like if you go on the PSA app now, it's getting so advanced. Like you just scan the code at the back, it gives you a market value.
All right, infomercial. All right, settle down, PSA. No.
I was doing it today with a guy who had a stack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I don't know if that card was worth $10 or $10,000. I don't have a clue. But you scan the back, I'm like, oh, yep, $5, $10, $20. I'm like, nah, they don't really have any value.
Use Card Ladder. Card Ladder's pretty awesome.
It's a collector's company. Of course he uses it. It's
they are. Oh, God. Anyways, they have an app.
Infomercial.
I didn't know. I knew, but do you know I was using it on my iPhone? I was using Card Ladder through Safari, and it was driving me crazy, and it was so slow. I even complained to the guys. I'm like, man, Card Ladder's so slow. No one responded. A week later, I realized there's an app.
We may have not responded on purpose. But that's a whole different story. So, okay, so one of the things that, your wife owns a card shop there in Halifax. So one of the curious things that I have is somebody opens a 10 the cup, they want to get the card graded at PSA, the RPA, and they say, will you crack this for me? What's the answer? Yes or no?
For them, depends on the person. They might. My answer would be no.
Because of the risk involved in cracking. Like you could
Yeah,
crack their card
Sign a
and
waiver.
it
yeah.
could get damaged. I mean, there's
So
nothing.
what they do have, I know, is they have like the towel and the tools, the
Yeah.
blue towel with the mystery tools inside of it.
Ah, you've been watching my videos, I see, Brad.
So again, I have seen in the past where they offered,
Okay.
here, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. But one of my things that I definitely have to get the answer is, what do we do with those cards if they are in the slab? Do we consider? My assumption is that will be a crossover, because you can't send them in as a raw card because they're not raw. So we'd have to take them out of that holder. So our crossover services start at value plus and above. We don't do them for our value lower end tiers. So that can get expensive as well for somebody that wants to send it in. And then there's no grade on the card. So do you request a min grade? There's some details that we'll figure it out, I'm
sure. Yeah, card manufacturers probably throw curveballs all the time at you that you have to sort through. Okay, here's a question that I asked Mitch that I want to get your answer on too. When, let's say 10 years from now, that whoever from this class, Bedard, Fantilli, turns out to be top tier hobby guy, and their cup RPA is worth a lot of money, is one that cracked or intact, but that still has that flip or label. Do you see his word flip, Phil? That's a new word for us, flip.
Yeah.
That has the flip versus somebody that lost it. All things being equal, is the card without that Upper Deck, label or flip or whatever, is it worth less than the one that has it?
You know what will be interesting will be how many of these cards we'll see. How many, and the pop reports, how many of them will be graded by grading companies? Because my thoughts are the majority of these cards, just my own personal thoughts, majority of these cards will be removed from the case that they're in.
Mm-hmm. And then that's kind of the basis of my question. So inevitably somebody or some people are going to lose that label from Upper Deck. And then what happens? How critical is that to the value of the card going forward?
I don't think it will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't, you'd pay like just as much for one with it?
Yeah, I feel, again, I have no idea, but I feel like that database will become more public as time goes on. Yeah. You have all the images as a company. Like, I feel like, like Phil said, well, are we going to share these images? Like, I feel like it will happen.
Yeah. We just had I had poor internet, in case I'm clearer now. So we had to take a break, and Phil is giggling, per usual. You had mentioned a few minutes ago CT scanning. Now, it's awesome. And, we've been kind of universally, you can agree, disagree, criticize for, the kind of approach that Upper Deck is taking, but it is, I think, a very positive thing that they're proactively doing something to protect the collector. Where does in your estimation, the fake patch issue rank amongst other big hobby issues like CT scanning or some other that you can share with us?
I think CT scanning is I was going to say way more important. I don't know if that's the proper words.
Priority, bigger priority.
Yeah, it's a huge priority for people that play in that space. And, but I do think the solution is you buy from reputable breakers, reputable hobby shops that get direct from distributors that come out of cases, and you get to know that. If I go to any shop that I'm going to go to buy product, I'm quite confident that I'm not going to, I wouldn't go in and buy a single box from someone of 05, 06, the cup, or 15. I just wouldn't do it, because who knows where that came from after time.
Or certainly on eBay.
Completely. Not a chance. Just never now. I mean, from what I understand is that every card and every product can be seen now. Is that what you guys understand?
I think so. It's getting better. It's going to get better and better and cheaper. And faster. I mean, that's the way technology advances. What I have heard from people that have talked to these companies is that, because like one of the things that people push back on the whole CT scanning issue is like, well, we're hockey, we're small potatoes, nobody really cares. It's the exquisite basketball or the 96 PMG or 97 PMG basketball or Metal Universe basketball. But I have heard that lots of cup is being scanned. I don't know about other sets, but and I think somebody even broke down the math too, like even based on current prices, like if you go, I think, from like a onesie twosie perspective, it's probably not an ROI there. But if you have 20 cases of the cup and you pay to have it all scanned, that you can come out ahead finding that one case that has the banger in it.
Right.
And because even in hockey, some of these cards are super valuable.
Yeah.
We'll get a Bedard gold, gold RPA. You're laughing.
Yeah. Do you find though, have your collecting changed over time? There was a point before auto cards, before jerseys, when we were collecting, and then came the autographs, then came the jersey cards. And I remember thinking I didn't even want to own a card of a modern card that didn't have an auto or didn't have a patch or didn't have. That was part of, in the late 90s and the 2000s. That's where my mindset as a collector was. Now I've shifted, and now I'm back to give me a low numbered card without a patch. And I've really started to go that route more and more, which eliminates some of these things that we had to worry about. I worry about every time I get an autograph card, I worry about the autograph fading because it's happened to me so many times. I've sold two now, Sidney Crosby 0506 Future Watch autos that have faded over time that I didn't have in direct sunlight, and the autograph just faded over the years.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
So I
scary.
have a really good example of that. So Phil, sorry, Brad, you have to play along, but Phil, we just did our top 5 video, and there was a McDavid 1 of 1 from, I think it Premier?
Yeah, it was Premier, yeah.
Yeah, rookie patch auto that had a very faded auto in it, and it was in the top 5. I mean, it's still sold for 30 grand or something like that. Well, I had like 3 or 4 people DM me the original photo of that card, and the auto was beautiful.
Really? Oh, and that was very faded.
Very faded.
So what does it evaporate? Like, I guess it just
don't know.
slowly evaporates.
Maybe on the acetate, like Premier, on it's just not a good surface to hold that auto for the
doesn't
long
absorb
term.
in. It just rests on the. I have to chemistry. I don't know.
To your point, though, I'm weird, Brad, in that what you're describing is basically what I collect this crap.
All right.
Right. I mean, this is I don't collect autographs or patches very rarely. It's not that I don't like them, but I'm kind of an insert guy where I do feel that as a collector that it's kind of a sense of relief at times where I don't have to worry about the patch being authentic or how the autograph is going to grade, if that's the route I want to go, or will it fade over time? So yeah, I think there's pros and cons of each, but yeah, it's interesting to hear that maybe that your tastes are changing in that regard.
Yeah, and my tastes always evolve as a collector. I always go through cycles, and that's part of the journey as a collector. If I just stuck in one lane and done one thing, I don't think I would enjoy it as much because I'd be bored.
Do you still collect sets at all, Brad? Like, that's always my tried, tested, and true to me. I always circle back when there's nothing to do. I just want to finish a set. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, okay, good.
Absolutely. I love collecting sets. That is, it's fun. Unfortunately, sometimes the sets I want to collect now get expensive, and I don't like paying premiums for cards that really I don't care that much about. But I've done a lot. I'm actually circling back now to do some of the sets in the 50s that I did have every set from 51 up to 89. And then I said, this is stupid. Why? I'm going to keep the key cards, the key rookie cards and the key cards. So I sold those off. That was like,
now you're buying them back.
Yeah. Now I'm buying them back.
See, I'm not the only one.
Do you think, I wanted to bring up one of the things that you just said earlier, though, is I would not buy that McDavid card.
No.
I just don't want that. To me, that's going to be some sort of a hassle down the road. It's not aesthetically appealing. I'd always look at it not to enjoy it as much. I'd look at it and be like, oh, that autograph sucks.
Yeah.
Like I just spent $30,000. Do you know what I mean? Like life-changing money for the majority of people.
Oh, yeah. You spent a car on it. I mean, that's the way to look at it.
And if you have that much money, don't you, to buy that card and you have disposable income, don't you want something that's going to be aesthetically appealing and not cause you grief or stress, like you said, not have to worry about it?
In 20 years, you'll be like, you can kind of see it, but he signed it. Like
I just talked Phil into doing exactly what you're doing. So Phil just got a big card. He wanted the McDavid retro Young Guns, that one, right? He just got that one. One of the cards he traded instead of just paying cash was Phil has hoards every single Wayne Gretzky Blast from the Past refractor that he can find. And you had one that was pretty off-centered. Where
more off-center than the other 5.
Yeah. I mean, not horribly, but it gets to the point with cards like that where you can't look at it without, like you said, the first thing that crossed your mind is, oh, this is off-centered, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, get rid of it, dude. Just you can't. It prevents you from enjoying the card.
Yeah. And I did it. I traded it, Brad, and I also traded a Brady Tkachuk PSA 10. That I vowed never to trade, and I have no trader remorse, none. So I think a new wave of Phil stuff is coming.
Yeah, Phil's evolving too.
I'm evolving. I'm maturing. Mm-hmm.
Even went on a date last night. He's turning.
No, that doesn't count. Don't stop.
That's good. I remember I had a Phil Esposito rookie that was in a PSA 7 that I'm quite sure would have been a 9. I don't even want to say a 10, but it was absolutely perfect. And I was excited putting cards in, not paying attention. This is probably 10 years ago. And I took out the soft sleeve to send it in for grading. And when I put it in the soft sleeve, I dinged the corner.
Oh.
And I dinged it and I went, oh, like I can't believe I just did that.
Sherry, get my booze.
I was so mad. And the card came back a 7. And I honestly, it would have been a 9 or a 10. It was just immaculate. Besides that, I sold it, and I had to because
every time you looked at it, it reminded you of
just ticked off. So that's why I
be done with you. Right? Be done with you.
Break the side before you put a card in.
Yeah.
And I tell everyone this story. I'm like, that's why I do it. They're like, why do you do that? Because you can catch the corner, and that was like a $5,000 to $10,000 mistake that I did. Someone that handles cards all the time, just watching the game, whatever it was, just.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I just had an experience and it's right here. So I can pull up my example. I just got this, which I'm very excited about too, because I'm an insert guy, right? And this is his first insert. And I took it out of the sleeve to admire it and bend it because they're bendy like they originally were. You can, and then when I went to put it back in the sleeve, I was like on the 3rd attempt. And I'm like, this is not going well because die cut cards can get a little tricky. And I'm like, stop. And I went and I got my X-Acto knife. You use your finger because you're fancy, but I got my X-Acto knife and I'm like, but I was proud of myself because I'm like, maybe it's like the man thing in you, like wants you to power through and I'm going to figure this out.
All groceries come in one shot, one trip.
What are you doing here? Just stop and cut the corner so you don't mess up the card that you just got, that you're so excited about. But
yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so getting back to the big Upper Deck news really quick. I have to imagine, because we've gotten a lot of feedback that within hobby circles and collecting circles you're in, or maybe what you heard, what went down at the card shop today. Has there been a lot of chatter about this, and what is the general sentiment that you've heard?
So I always go back to this too. You'd be surprised how many people, we think everyone in the hobby is on Instagram and in YouTube, etc.
They're not.
I didn't hear anything about it, anything at all today. And I was at the Submission Center AMG all day. No, not one person was talking about it. Now, if you look at my phone with my hardcore group, it was like this was groundbreaking news, like CNN, Wolf Blitzer was out and be like, guys, like this
Mhm.
is going to change the world. What's happening? And it was from every angle. And oh, this is that, and this is that, and yeah. So overall, honestly, I didn't hear anything from that. It was just from the group.
Your clubhouse thing.
Yeah, like with messages, with text messages, emails, and then I talked to you guys, and yeah, it is a small circle in the grand scheme of things. So
Yeah.
I think I don't know how people will take it. We'll know.
Yeah.
When's the cup? Not this
Wednesday.
Next
Next
a week
Wednesday?
today. A week tomorrow. A week yesterday.
Oh, I was hoping it was going to be 2 weeks. That's extended.
Oh, you have extended comes out 6 days before the cup.
Yeah, like I wish the gap was a little bit bigger, and that like back to back to back to back. It's
Extended's today. Came out today, I think.
Yeah,
Today, yeah.
tomorrow's the release for some
Brad,
reason.
the fourth wall.
We're messing this up so bad. We're recording on Wednesday, but this is airing on Thursday.
Yeah.
So we're going back.
We're not live.
It's the
Does Brad
magic of
think we're live?
podcasting, Brad.
Oh,
You know, Hollywood.
This guy's the president of something. Come on. No.
Today is the day. I'm just ripping some extended. Like,
Some of your Celebrini Young Guns canvas.
Yeah. Will Smith Young Gun. You're Will Smith Young Gun.
Did you hit the? Oh, okay. Well, I'll ask you a quick extended, just because I'm really curious. The Ovechkin buyback autograph Young Guns. I think it's brilliant move by Upper Deck, and I applaud them for that. So there's the 8 out of 8, so that's numbered to 8, and on the 8 out of 8, he did kind of a quasi inscription / hand numbering, where he did great 8 out of 8.
Yeah.
What's that card worth in your mind?
I'm going to say 25K.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of curious, because it's been a big topic of conversation. Like, I know a few people that are considering bounties for it, and they have no idea what to. Like
That's a weak bounty. 25K is a weak bounty. I think a bounty's got to be 5-0.
No, but I'm not saying that that's what but the reason why bounties haven't come out is that people are really conflicted as what the value of it is.
Yeah.
Would that be one of his top 3 greatest cards of all time? The grade 8?
No.
Okay.
Like, look, think about that. Look, I picked this up yesterday. This guy. Ovi Ultimate Rookie out of 299, graded a 910.
What'd you get it for?
28.50.
Okay.
$2,850 Canadian.
Okay.
That's it.
Going right in my PC from 05 out of 299. Like, look at the Future Watch on. It was out of 999. There's a third of these.
That seems pretty low.
Yeah, and the last one sold for 3,300. And the guy's going to sell it on. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah.
Do you live near a card shop or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I give first choice.
That's all.
It's gotta be kind of hard at times. It's like, does part of you just want to buy everything?
It does, but I'm getting really good. I am getting selective on it, but then it goes back to it. And I said I don't care as much about autos, but this.
Do you think Sherry hides certain cards from you if she wants to go on vacation? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, oh, nothing's really been coming in the last few months. So I've been looking at Hawaii, and yeah. Brad's wife owns the card shop, right?
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. So in case someone listening doesn't,
she's the real boss. We know
the real boss. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I see so many cards that come back, especially through the shop and through PSA, and that go out. I seen one of the nicest cards I've ever seen in my life today. It was a PSA. It was a PSA 10, but it was a Topps Chrome Rolly Fingers autograph card. And it was a picture of him with the ball in his hand, the perfect stash out to the sides. It was on card with a perfect auto. And again, regardless, I don't care about, I shouldn't say I don't. Yeah, I don't care about Rolly Fingers. It doesn't mean him, but the card aesthetically, it was the nicest looking card. I was like, I'd love to own that card. There's so many cards out there that we never, ever see that are in existence that just would appeal to us, and we don't even know about them.
Josh,
well, I've been telling, so you're going to say it, but you go and say it. I talk too much.
Well, it's your story. You say it.
Okay, fine. So one of the side benefits of our checklist site, hockeychecklist.com, is there's really no easy way to upload a checklist the way we're doing it. And so I essentially go through every set card by card. And it's been it's been a lot of work, but I have found so many cards that I never knew of, where I'm like, this is amazing. Like it's like discovering the whole hobby all over again, because I'm literally forced to look at some of these sets I've never paid attention to before.
Every card. Look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have to do, I think as a hobby, not to get off too much try, but we have to do a better job of showing these beautiful cards that are out there that anybody that wants to enter the space can collect and be proud of their collection. You know, like I think I got two of my
the shelf
favorite cards, and I keep them up there. And these cost me, I bought them at the National in the States, $10 each. So here's,
is that Kelly Gruber?
no, it's Jimmy Key.
Oh, okay.
On card auto. And then I got it graded and it came back at 10. And Dave's team.
Oh, no kidding.
Two of my favorites. I know it's a hockey card, but two of my favorite cards, $10 each, cost me $30 to grade them. Two of my favorite cards in my collection.
You weren't an Expos guy, eh? You were a Jays guy.
I was all in on the Jays. Yeah, I wasn't an Expos guy. I mean, obviously I want them to do good, but all Jays.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Is there a little known hockey card or set that you would recommend people check out? We do this, well, I should say, as a result of me doing this checklist, we've started, and people really like it, a hidden gems segment where like once a month I highlight 4 or 5 of these cards that I'm finding. So I'm curious if you can think of one off the top of your head.
Yeah, you know what? Kind of put me a little on the spot to think about it. One thing that I really like, I'm doing a red PMG set. And what I'm going to do with my red PMG set, because it came out in multiple years, I'm going to build a set with just one of each player from regardless of what the year it was.
Oh, that's kind of a cool way to go about it.
So they're easy to pick up, right? So when you're going, you can see. So they're easy to see when you're going through discount boxes or looking at someone's table, because they're so bright they stand out. So I'm going to do a set of one of each player. So it will be an ongoing thing, and it can be from anything. So then I get them slab. That's going to be a different segment of the wall, but I thought it'd be cool. So there's a something that people can.
Well, they've got a lot more affordable too in the last couple of years. So it's,
you pick some of them up out of 100 for $10, $5. Like you're getting some players for $5 a PMG. So I think that's a long-term one. I love the Noise Boys that you showed earlier. I think they're great. I picked up a few. I think I got maybe 5 or 6 different ones. I don't
think Phil likes them. He thinks they're dumb, right?
They're a basketball card. Do you have any 2012, 2013 Fleer Retro unopened boxes in the Hartlin household?
No, I don't have 12.
No, I only have cases. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I only have cases, Phil.
So I think I might show this before, but I'm working on the 13-14 blue PMG set.
Oh, those are nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
that is not okay.
There's the Gretzky.
Woo!
Yeah, that's in a 9 too. Anyways, I love that. So I'm about 3/4 of the way done.
Do you have any unopened wax of that the year before set? No, eh?
No.
You would have opened it, Brad?
Yeah, I don't. I've got a lot of obscure wax, but I don't have any of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
but if I do, I will try to find if I come across.
Yeah, listen, I want to buy a box so bad. Josh has one, but he's never opening it.
Yeah. So I'm doing this set was forever. I think I did show you guys before the 16-17 orange platinum autos. They're numbered out of 15. There's 45, I think, in the set.
Okay, it doesn't ring a
bell. Because I love the 16-17 rookie class. So I got Matthews, Marner, Tkachuk, Barzell.
The orange checkers rookie autos. What he's talking about.
Oh, orange checkers. Okay, I thought you meant cardboard. Sorry. Out of 50 or 25, 35 there.
Yeah, these guys here. They're out of.
Oh, the checkers. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're orange, and they're out of 15. So I've been looking. I need 2 more for the set.
You're the only guy I know that went orange and not gold.
I love the orange out of 50. It's because they're out of 15, right?
Oh, 15. Okay, yeah.
It's the second. It's besides the golden treasure. It's the lowest number.
Yeah.
So
and emerald. Emerald's 10.
Technically, you're wrong. Emerald's 10. Yeah.
I said it first, Joe.
Yes. Sorry, I messed up. But there. So I've had this for 7 or 8 years. So it's 16, 17, and I'm thinking there's an orange platinum in here. One day.
Well, you're not aiming high. I mean,
you should go on Friday Nights with Phil and open it.
Open it on Friday Nights with Phil. I bought a 2015-16, Brad, O-Pee-Chee Platinum, and I saw the goldest of gold, seismic golds, revealed itself, and it was Thomas Plekanec. Yeah, box cost me $950, worth every.
Oh, I have an even better idea. Sorry, Phil. I'm not trying to talk on your show,
Anyway,
but no. Nothing's announced, but let's just say like there's a rip party in November.
That's what you should bring it to.
You know what? All in. I'm in.
Nice.
Yeah, you can't be. I'm so tired this time because I work at PSA and we've taken in 400,000 cards.
Guys,
I'm
the president.
And you know, we're just so successful. You have no idea how exhausting it is to be this successful. That's not gonna fly.
Hartlin's in. Hartlin's in. It's invite only. Hartlin is in. No girls allowed though. Sorry, it's a boys only thing.
Yeah, 100%. I am in, and that's when we'll do it.
We'll give you B12 shots to wake you up or whatever you need.
Hold him down. He's so squirmy.
Make it.
Great idea, Josh. Brad, absolutely. Yeah. Invited. Because we're planning it now, right? I'm reaching out to a lot of
nothing's announced, but
doesn't matter. I'm reaching out to a lot of influencers as well, because a lot of folks on YouTube and Instagram, we do a lot of very good taking, and this is a time to give back. So really excited.
Yeah, and you were a huge part of last one, which again will forever be
like almost half of it.
Grateful in that regard. Okay, so you're like 8 hours ahead, so we're not gonna keep you up all night. But I do want to end with a just to get an update from you on how the PSA Canada Submission Center planning is going, and we still on track for early fall.
Yep, we're going to be open in September. Everything is scheduled. We are really getting. It seems like we're at the finish line, even though there's still a lot of moving parts. But we will be opening in September in Mississauga, and I am so excited for it. We started hiring our team. Dylan Crosby just joined us. He's our marketing manager for Canada. He started 2 weeks ago. That's very exciting for me. We're hiring our operations supervisors, then all the staff that are going to be there. And, you know, we're starting, I mean, it's not small, it's a big operation, but we're going to grow this thing quicker and quicker as we keep on going. And I am so excited for it. It's just, besides my life's going to get 1,000 times easier by having our own online submission center. You know, it's a game changer for Canadians. Never have to think about shipping across the border again. With anything, we all deal with customs duties, tariffs, and we're going to take care of all that for everyone. We're going to have a beautiful office where you can drop off, pick up. It will save money on shipping. Everything is on track, and
maybe we can get a tour when you're all up and everything's up. And I'll drive down. It's hard for those boys, but I'm in Toronto once a month. We can go for lunch. I'll take you out for lunch and you give me a tour.
Love it. When you drop off your submission, I'll come meet you with my white gloves on, and I'll say,
"Well done, well done." You never know.
Brad, this is where Brad's going to do the. We have a pool. We have a pond. Pond would be good for you.
But I do appreciate you asking that. Because again, we're going to be building out a lot more stuff in the near future, and very excited to have Dylan on board. And
congratulations to Dylan. Sounds like you're pretty proud to have him on your team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you grow from a team of one, every time you add a person, and when I say that, it's a team of one, but we've leaned on the staff at AMG and some friends of mine that have stepped in now, because you know our volume is just. Yeah, I'm not going to complain about it. Don't want to complain about this big problem we have, but you know,
we have to take all the money to the bank, and then
it's so heavy. There's lots of bags.
But it's good. Like we're getting, you know, today I had packages from Dubai, South Korea, Australia.
That's what we need. The hobby needs a Saudi prince. We need a Saudi prince to come and take over. Yeah, that'll be good.
We have a employee now that is in the Middle East.
Amazing. Wow. You're international.
Yeah, he's in Dubai, and I met with him a couple times. Super nice guy. Pulp culture is exploding over there. When this, again, to grow this hobby, to me, that's where we're going to grow it globally. You know, yes, Canada and obviously the US is the powerhouse, but Canada, we definitely are going to grow, but when you start to see it's internationally where these numbers can go, and that's going to benefit all of us as
Yeah.
collectors, and even the people that say they don't care about the value of their collections. But we all do.
No, that's so sad. Listen, I'm one of the biggest critics of grading in general, and in a heartbeat, if my roof starts leaking, I'm grading immediately with PSA because that's what I'm going to get my value on.
Yeah.
That's a objective fact. That doesn't need an opinion of anybody, you know. It's just
I
the way
got a
to do
guy
it.
in Ottawa too that can go by and do some damage to roofs in a hurry. I should give
Yeah.
him a call.
I'm your guy. I am ferociously loyal.
Hey, Ding Dong, he wants to damage your own roof, so he'd
Oh,
have to
no,
hire you
my
to write.
roof. Listen, listen, Brad. Yeah, you don't want to go jump on my roof. Yeah.
No, we just covered that whole we looked up like the world rankings of hockey as it ranks to other sports, and some is logical. The fact that like ping pong and like pool is like billiards is ranks has more fans than hockey was a little depressing. But the point that I made, Brad, was um, David Stern in the NBA built the roadmap for this. In basketball is the third most popular sport in the world,
How's that even
and
possible?
because of the
Well,
91
right?
92 dream team and the decision to actually market Michael Jordan and to make him a star, where to this day whether you want to put the blame on Bettman or the culture or the community are reticent to make, it's criminal what they've done from a marketing perspective with Connor McDavid, which is nothing
10 years of nothing.
of nothing.
And listen, you don't have to have a personality this day and age to be marketable. There is a plethora of mediocre, famous, rich people,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
McDavid's not mediocre. He's the best, or
Yeah.
arguably the best.
And the point I made too about
it's
like on the show. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't even think it's arguably. Anyone that knows the game of hockey that says that he is not by far the best
Yeah.
player in the world today, and anyone that argues that he's not the most skilled player to ever lace up skates, to me, does not know hockey.
Yeah, I'm trying to save my big. There's someone who's going to disagree with you in the comments, and Josh is going to reply to them and be all nice. And yeah.
No, I mean you can't compare, but sure, it's a subjective argument, but it's a very good argument.
Is it though?
I'm not big on comparing eras, anyways, because the circumstances were totally different when Wayne Gretzky played than when Connor McDavid plays. If that's the route you want to go, but it's just like like I said, if you go and study how the game of basketball grew, it was having Kobe spend 3 weeks in China and doing exhibitions and going to malls and signing shoes. And the point I made too, and it's more relevant to me, but it was kind of crazy. So at that time, we had Kevin Garnett here in Minnesota and Stephon Marbury, and he is a massive star in China. Like he goes there now that he's retired and makes millions of dollars.
Oh,
It could be because of those experiences and how big of an impact that had on the game. And I'm not saying that like China, it has to be China, but I'm more speaking to your point on globalization and taking the game internationally and building. And the first step is the Olympics, which thankfully we have coming up. And probably the best thing would be a very heated gold medal game in like triple overtime between the US and Canada, where
we got to get there first.
Team
We
Red,
got to
White,
get to
Blue.
the finals.
Yeah. And I'll say that as a company for us at PSA, I know we're going to grow globally. We have our David Stern and our GM for international at PSA's, Ryan Miller. I know I talked to him about. He's become a good friend of mine. I mean,
The goalie?
No, not the goalie, not the goalie.
Okay.
But yeah, we have that right now with our branding globally. I completely believe that, and we're going to do some great things as a company, and hopefully along that, the hockey will.
Where does PSA think the biggest untapped market is overseas?
The biggest on-tap market. So I would say Europe for us.
Yeah.
Would be, like
is there a concentration in Europe where there happens to be? I'm sure it depends on sport a little bit, but just in general collecting, I'm talking about, not necessarily hockey.
I think I know that answer, but I don't want to say because I
Oh, it might be secretive information.
Yeah, I
Stupid
don't know if
cigarette.
it's public knowledge or not, but we have great plans internationally all over the globe, and they're. I don't think they're actually officially announced right now. Maybe they are. I should know that answer.
Err on the side of caution as much as I'd like you to say.
100%. I'm going to err on the side of caution. But yeah,
Can you open an office in the Maldives and invite us there to the grand opening?
there you go.
Oh, Maldives would be amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
On my list, right? But I do think Australia. You have Lane Pierce, that the founder of 130 Point.
Yeah.
He's growing.
Sneaky hockey hobby there too, actually.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and everything can kill you if you don't check your shoes right. Ugh, I have no interest. I thank you, Brad. I decline your offer to go open a PSA outlet in Australia.
Phil has travel fears. We haven't discussed that on the show much, but for being a strong, manly man, he gets a little scaredy of like.
I have a bit of
flying in weird
baggage. Leave me alone. This is squirrely.
You know what? I'm right there with you, though. I know we said our international meetings could be, maybe we have them in Japan or China or Dubai and I instantly just started sweating now thinking about it. For me to travel over there, it gives me this.
I don't know any Japanese. Konnichiwa. I don't know what to do.
I'm a picky eater. I don't like to fly. There's just if you check the things in the box that make me not want to go, there's an awful lot of them.
When it gets a little third world, that's where I don't want to go to the bathroom in a hole in the floor. That's just not.
Oh, that's fine. I can sleep standing up. Japan has got probably the best beef in the world. Yeah, I'd be okay with Japan. Yeah.
All right. Well, so just to kind of wrap up, there's not an official stance from PSA yet on the Upper Deck encapsulation news, but you have committed as our correspondent on this matter that you will report any new and developments in that regard. And the one thing I did want to say about, and this is just going back to your submission center a little bit, and I'd like to think maybe after a few more years of hobby participation here that, maybe I could be a candidate for honorary Canadian. So I do care about the space and Canada. Phil just said that that's unlikely with your body language. But I think one of the things that's cool when I look at what Slab Sharks has built and what you guys are building is that there's infrastructure now that's real infrastructure and tools and services that are being built specifically for Canadians. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. We're hiring 15 to 20 people with good jobs. We're bringing the business here. We're going to be doing the first steps of it. Obviously, my goal is to increase the volume where we can have on site a full grading operation in Canada. That's my goal. And it can happen. We have to hit the numbers that
it will happen. It will happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and I'm quite confident. That's been my first goal when I joined PSA was to bring on-site grading to the Toronto Expo. And check mark, we've done that. We'll be back in November. This will be our third show, which is a big thing. We never did that. We did the national. It wasn't. This was out of the box, and we pulled it off, and it was a success twice. And in November, I'm quite confident will be another success. And
you'll be tired, but yeah, it'll be a success.
So we got the V12. Ready?
Yeah,
Red Bull gives me wings. I'll just keep on going.
Oh, sorry. I do have one more question. So we just reported on, I believe our last show, the Burbank retail PSA spot, which is your first there. Do you ever see a time where grading with PSA would be like a dry cleaners where I drop my card off at noon, go to lunch at some retail outlet, come back and have my graded copy? Is that kind of where all this is maybe headed some point in the future, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we said it. I mean, for that, it would have to be obviously automation.
Automated.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if I use the problem. And from every person that I've ever talked to at PSA says, I think our stance publicly on it is, yes, there's going to be things that are going to be able to enhance and help our graders, but the human will always be involved in the process. And I've never heard that wavered in any.
Is that a philosophical reason or a technical reason? Where does that come from?
A technical reason. And I when I look at our leadership group, they know the tech space. I don't have a clue.
No psychics. They can't remote view. The
No.
FBI might have some. They could
Yeah.
visualize the card and grade it.
Yeah, I just don't think there ever will be full automatic. I mean, I should not ever. Obviously,
I
maybe-
do. There has to be.
The way
There
the
has
world
to be.
is
Okay, let's not get into this again.
Yeah. Anyway, as long as I think that's part of the. So I've been told that.
Okay.
I believe that from people that know that space currently, and I'll always go with that. But yeah, I do. I love I mean, Burbank is absolutely the perfect spot for our first official submission center in the U.S.
Yeah. Have you been there, Brad? Have you been to Burbank
Yeah,
Sports?
I've been a bunch of times.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'd love to check it out. Yeah.
Honestly, it's a card shop at the end of the day, but this new one's going to be on
It
another.
looks big. No,
Yeah.
it's not big.
Yeah, like the original Burbank, it's. I mean, yeah, it is big. It does include their warehouse is massive. I've never gone through the warehouse,
Oh, okay.
but I listen to Rob all the time. I think him and Ryan, his son, and now his daughter. I like everything that they stand for. I like everything they do.
Yeah, his mind's always open to change, and he's strong in what he believes, and he carries himself very well, right? And he runs a good
100%.
business.
Absolutely
Offers
Runs a
the
great
hobby a lot. Yeah, I like
business.
it.
I met with Ryan at one of their shows, and I talked to him for just about 10 minutes, and yeah, just very impressive. I love seeing what they're doing as a family, and they are there for the hobby, and anyone that, I mean, no one could ever dispute that.
No one keeps singles like that and doesn't do it for the hobby. That's insane. I mean, I've paid a lot in shipping, but I've at least 20% of all my collections have been from their eBay store.
Yeah,
And I don't know how they have those cards. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and the cost that they put in, I don't think it's really I don't want to say it's not
Shipping was always more for any cards I needed from Burbank.
right, but a money-making venture. But if you're paying someone to sort out a 3,200 count box, like, I mean, you're paying big dollars for that, right? Like, so
Yeah.
you show, yeah, it's awesome.
Wow. My guess would be between them and ComC, those have to be the two largest concentrations of trading cards in any given building in the world.
And I'll add another one in there, like if Dave and Adams, and how can you possibly leave out
Yeah.
the amount?
We don't know much about them. Phil legitimately, it is a joke, but all jokes aside,
No, go ahead.
didn't know who they were 6 months ago.
I had no idea. No
Like,
idea.
I mean, it wouldn't even be close on the wax side. Like, it would feel like if you wanted to do a tour of Dave and Adams, we can make that happen. You'd be blown away.
Really?
Like,
That's in Buffalo?
Yeah, the first time I went in there, I just couldn't believe it. I just could not believe the things,
Really, eh?
like, mind blowing. The things that are there.
Yeah,
You
Troy.
talk
We know Troy LaCastro. He said he could give me a tour. Well, I mean, hold on a sec. Is one of those guys isn't who bought out Pinnacle and Fleer, is it? Like they bought out Pinnacle in the 90s or something. Is that one of them?
Adam's been in the hobby since I started too, in the late 80s. And
Okay.
he's done
I think he bought out Pinnacle and gave a bunch of free cards out at a card show I was at in like 15 years ago. And I was like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
I think that might be one of the guys there, but
yeah,
either
it's
way.
a mind blowing operation. It's
Okay.
massive operation. And
Should go on a
it's
tour,
really cool to see.
Okay. I'll see what I can
Okay.
whip up. Yeah.
Well, you're a beauty. Thank you so much for your insight. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing how this shakes out. I'm really I think the grading piece is one of the more fascinating to me. And if you could secretly tape those conversations,
Yeah.
we'd appreciate it.
We're getting Brad in so much trouble.
No problem at all.
Power of editing.
All right, Brad. We'll talk to you soon, bud.
See you guys. Thanks.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was
I
good.
like talking
Yeah,
to
Brad's an absolute beauty. He we have maybe a little too much fun all together. He's a friend, you know, but it's serious. He's the president of PSA Canada. So
Serious.
he made some very good points. Brad knows when to be silly and he knows when to be serious. And I think you just showed that. And very similar points to Mitch, just a little different, tweaked here and there. But overall,
The big thing that they disagreed on was the value if you lose the label.
Yeah.
Now, where do you fall on that? So 10 years from now, Bedard Cup RPAs go for 50 grand. Oh crap, I lost my label.
Yeah.
Is it worth less or is it
It'll
worth
probably be worth less, and that's the one I want. Yeah. Give me the PSA 9. You know, yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
So if there's two in a showcase and one has the label, one has the label and it's still on the case.
Yeah,
that might bring more premium value in 10 years, right? It's in the original slab from Upper Deck, no collusion. You know, mine can't be colluded with either because I have the sticker. It just doesn't feel the same, maybe, without the original slab. I don't know, man. We're building a new culture. Let's see where the culture goes.
It's for the culture, Phil.
For the culture.
That's what the kids say. What does that mean?
That the kids don't say that. If the kids said it, they'd be like, it's for the cuh. They're lazy. They won't even finish words now. Like sus. You know, I just learned like a month ago that means suspect.
Yeah.
That is so odd.
I have teenagers, so they taught me that too.
Well, I heard a grown man say it on TV, and I had to ask Cole what it means, and he said, "Oh, that's suspect." I'm like, why wouldn't that guy my age just say the full word? Anyways, what do I know?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, bud. Well, hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. We'll be back with a more, I guess, normal episode. It's kind of fun to switch it up.
Yeah, it's different. A little curveball.
Yeah,
it's good.
Every now and then.
Upper Deck threw us a big curveball, so we had to throw a curveball.
You have to adjust.
I don't know. Swing and a miss.
Well, if you like the episode, please leave a rating, review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, if you love Phil, who doesn't love Phil? And you want to support us, you want to join the Hockey Tinder for Lonely Men, the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 donation per month. Join our $2.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description, both YouTube podcast apps and our Instagram, TikTok profile on our website. There's a link to become a patron, hockeycardsgongshow.com, or just go to Patreon directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. The Gong Show's on social media. We're cool. Not. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And Phil, the Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures LLC. We have no Louis, so it's on you, buddy. Do him proud and take us out.
See you later.
It's the Gong Show, we're dropping the facts. Hockey cards on fire, no holding us back. Josh looking sharp, the face of the scene. Feeling pork chop pants, rocking it clean. Baba Louie in the booth, he's the man with the plan. The best producer in all the land. Gong Show Nation, let's hit the flow. It's the Hockey Cards Gong Show, let's go, let's go. Wanna say the minute show.
I'm sorry, what?